Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite games of all time. It's an artistic masterpiece. The Messenger's time travel mechanic is an artistic genius. The story in The Last of Us is an amazing work of art. Spelunky using random generation to make working levels must have artistic code.
Video games aren't art. Did you forget that video games aren't art? Video games can never be art. What are you talking about? That's not art. You can't play art. Just so you know, video games are art. Not video games. You don't know what art is. Art is a stupid video game.
Hey yo, it's Wacko, and some people like to go online and make dumb claims. But if the internet's taught me anything, it's that I like to argue.
Hey, you can't argue about art. You're not fancy enough. Still not fancy enough? Okay, you're good.
Alright, where were we? The first thing to establish is, what is art? Oxford has a great definition for us. It's YouTube, so I'm gonna have to cut this down a bit. And we got creative visuals made by humans that have beauty or emotion. Great! Video games are creative, visual, made by humans, look beautiful, and give emotions. Alright, guess we're done.
That's a terrible explanation. You know nothing about art. What kind of future website?
Okay, guess we're not. When most people think of art, they tend to think of museums holding really old paintings. When I use the term artist, you tend to think of people who draw pictures or paint portraits. However, not painting houses. That's not art. Unless it is. But that's not relevant. While art most commonly refers to drawn pictures, surprisingly, not all of them. Fridge drawings. Kids like to draw, yet most people don't call this art. But like, objectively it is art. But that's not what they mean. Think of a show like MasterChef. If Gordon Ramsay says a dish is bloody inedible, he's not saying it's literally not possible to eat, he's simply saying that it's so bad you don't want to eat it. Similarly, if someone says something isn't art, they could mean that it's not art, or they could mean that it's not good. When modern art isn't considered art, it's often because people don't view it as, well, kind of both. Yeah, a banana taped to a wall isn't that good to look at, but also, it isn't that creative or require that much effort. It's bad something, but it may not be considered art. People say it doesn't require effort or creativity, and it's just random stuff thrown together and we pretend that it has thought. Kinda like fridge drawing. To add on to this complexity, art can also refer to audio stuff like music, buildings and architecture are considered art, food, that's art too. Maybe art is just anything people make. Maybe children are art. It's kinda hard to come up with a good reason for why all of this is art, but video games aren't. But people have come up with a few. Roger Ebert is one of the biggest attackers of video games being art. Or, at least he was. He came up with a lot of reasons, though most of them are pretty bad. It appears as though I have a hat infestation. On his website, he says,
one obvious difference between art and games is that you can win a game. It has rules, points, objectives, and an outcome.
This isn't really true, as Tetris can't be won despite having points and objectives. Also, paintings do have rules, like don't throw oil on them. Well, I guess unless it's an oil painting, a video game is kind of like a coloring book. You have rules, like don't color outside the lines or don't attack your teammates, but you're able to break them. You just shouldn't. Outside of that, there's also rules of the code, like you can't walk through walls. But similarly, there's the laws of physics, which are just rules to reality that you can't break. A big problem with his claims is that they're often contradictory. Like how he says that games may someday become art, but also that the fundamental thing that makes them games can never be art. So, that doesn't make any sense. He says being able to do levels over
negates the whole discipline of the game.
Saying chess doesn't let you undo moves, but yeah, it does. If you make a bad start, well, finish the game, and there you go. You get to do it again. In a game, if you die in a level, just go back, and there you go. You get to do it again. Do you see what I mean when I say these critiques make no sense? Like, why can't art have objectives, points, or goals? Why can't art be interactive? Some museums have rooms dedicated to art you can interact with, yet a video game isn't art because you can interact with it? How is that a logical thing to say? For anyone who's played a game before, you can probably point to tons of examples of how video games do count as art. Mario Odyssey's movement and how moves flow together seamlessly, the motivational meaning behind getting over it and its mountain, the way Subnautica imposes fear onto the player with its environment and creature design. Yes, all of those were cross-promotion. Don't judge me. Oh, and then there's the artistic games, like Limbo, Firewatch, and The Unfinished Swan. There are so many games that can be considered art in so many ways, so to throw them all away and just say, it's interactive, therefore it's not art, just seems ignorant. To combat all these critiques, gamers would often say, visual things are art, music is art, architecture is art, video games have all three, therefore they're art. But I think that's kind of looking at it wrong. That's like calling a museum art just because it houses art. These things may be art, and the video game may feature them, but the question is whether the video game itself is art. This takes us down a pretty large rabbit hole into game design. There's been a lot of discussion about video game design lately, often following the follow the yellow line style of leading the player. This, however, is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to design. So let's talk about it.
That's right, this is actually 2 videos in one.
The yellow line debate has gone on for a while, and every time I see it die down, it seems to come back up again, for some reason. I really do hate this debate, because one side doesn't understand game design at all, and the other side somehow understands it worse. Video games need the yellow line, players are dumb. No, let us do what we want. Don't hold our hand.
Wrong.
Did you know The Messenger is a bad game?
There's a lot that goes into game design, but the part that's relevant here is the idea of leading the player without them knowing.
If you just put up giant arrows pointing to where the player needs to go, then you're kind of missing the point. Look at a game like The Last of Us. It brilliantly uses light, color, and level design to lead the player in the right direction without making it super obvious. It even uses the color yellow to direct the player where they should go, but, you know, not poorly. People tend to say players are too stupid to know where to go. That's why they need the yellow path. And yeah, players are dumb. Do you know the solution to that? Good game design! Oh, but these games are made by actual game developers. Are you saying that you're right and these actual game developers are wrong? Yes, because I am right and these developers are wrong. Game design isn't easy, but throwing away years and years of expertise just to throw around yellow paint is terrible. And acting like that's good design is driving me crazy. Like these stupid hats! Okay, fine. Here is a simplified step-by-step process on how to design a game. Step 1. Make it work. This isn't a game. Bam, there's a world. But there's no goals. Step 2. Add a goal. Bam, that's kind of a game. It's not a great game, but it works. Step 3. Add paths and make one lead to the goal. There could just be one path with obstacles or a ton of paths that loop back to each other, but whatever. Just some kind of stuff in the way. Step 4. Add things to make this path obvious, a la yellow paint. Step 5. Hide the yellow paint. Make the path you need to go on brighter, or make the other paths obviously inaccessible. Whatever you need to do, just design it well. Step 6. You're done. You did it.
So like I was saying, yellow lines could be dumb, but not having them could be worse. Oh shoot, I forgot about art.
This aspect of design, of knowing how players look towards the light, how they want to grab shiny stuff, how exactly they'll move through a level, that's game design. To make a good game, you have to at least understand the slightest about human psychology. You have to make the player feel the way you want them to. This is game design. This is art.
We had to put him behind glass, and sometimes getting the level designers making the player want to do the thing that gives them the most fun is a very subtle art.
If you still don't believe me, read anything about Super Metroid's development, please.
So that's an answer I feel rather satisfied in.
Wrong. Not true. Incorrect again.
Conclusion. The more we get him to rant about video games, the more he gets burnt out, the easier it is for us to... Wait, I think our...
Water isn't wet.